Gender equality, the goal. UNICEF says gender equality means the women, men, girls, boys enjoy the same rights, resources, opportunities and protections. It does not mean that girls, boys, women or men are the same or that they are treated exactly alike. Now, gender neutrality and equity, the practices, the ways of thinking and the mindset shift that helps to achieve gender equality. Gender parity, the measurement matrix for determining the gender balance, and it can aid in achieving gender equality. Final one, gender bias. That's the problem. The prejudices, subconscious and conscious thoughts, perspectives and beliefs that govern how people of different sexes are treated. Now, let me tell you a very quick story. My grandmother has 3 children, 1 daughter and 2 boys, and she has a yellow bucket and some dirty panties and bras. The assumption would be the daughter is responsible for washing the dirty panties, right? Nope. In this instance, all 3 children, girl and boys, washed the dirty panties at different points. So if you thought the girl would be the one responsible, that's gender bias. But what actually happened is gender equality, because my grandmother raised children who did the same thing regardless of sex. And that's what's going to take us to our topic this morning, which is the father's role. When we're looking at the difference between men and women, what role does the man play? How does the man help to shape the narrative such that this constant fight for gender balance, this constant fight to break the bias actually bears fruit? What is the father's role in actually getting us to the end goal? And that's what my guests and my other guest and I are going to be talking about today. I've got 2 awesome people. They're a dynamic duo. Tome is a musician, and her father, Lukman, is her manager. Tome has been in the music business, singer-songwriter, for quite a while now. She has performed as an actor as well. She's got an album out right now. Can you tell me a little bit about the album you've got out right now?
Yes, so the album that just released about a week ago is called Love Over Vanity. It's a 10-track album.
Love Over Vanity.
Yes, it's
Wow.
a 10-track album, and it's been doing really great so far.
Wow, awesome. And Lukman, who happens to be your manager,
Yes.
not just your dad,
Yes.
is an entrepreneur, a business leader, and a coach with 20 years of management strategy, product and service development, delivery, and operational experience in different industries, from telco to hospitality industry.
Correct.
Wow. And you decided to come together to become the dynamic duo. Wow. Wow. That is indeed awesome. So let's delve right in. Do men have a role to play in breaking the bias? And to what extent do they have that role to play? I'm going to ask the man.
Okay. Yes, everybody has a role to play, both the man and the male and the female, because it's not just gender equality affects both, right? And I believe one of the roles that we men strongly have to play is inclusiveness. And we have to be intentional about it. As cliche as it is, we still need the women. We need that.
It's not cliche, it's a fact.
We need that. We need that
women.
balance. We need that balance. Even in making decisions, we can be making decisions based on one aspect of the family, and they are looking at it from a different aspect of the family. So, I always believe everybody's opinion is very critical in making those kind of gender biased decisions. And that's the way I've raised my family, anyways.
I'm going to ask you the same question as well.
Yeah, I definitely believe that men have a role to play in, as you mentioned, the inclusiveness, and just generally speaking, I think that the evident fact is that we are different as beings. And so our mindsets will also be different in certain scenarios. However, if there is that inclusiveness to be attentive and empathetic to one another and understand where the other might be coming from to come to a compromise that works for both, then I definitely believe that there's much more possibility for better results in different aspects, because as of right now, or in different scenarios, there are a lot of the time I think it's more so misunderstanding and lack thereof, more so than anything else.
Yeah. So this month, International Women's Month, the hashtag is breaking the bias. What does that really mean from a male and female perspective?
From a woman's perspective, I'd say that breaking the bias, it becomes more so of a conversation that, generally speaking, it's quite deep. And it can be so complex in so many different ways. But as a woman, and I think coming from the music industry, which is my biggest perspective on this topic, is being able to see, I guess for me, being able to see the talent of one not being related to your gender, related to what you would, and just seeing the skill for what it is more so than the gender behind it. Because within the music industry, that plays a big role as to the opportunities you'll get, what is expected of you, and what you need to do compared to your opposite gender. So for me, I think it's definitely a means of understanding one's skill, what one can do, and seeing beyond the gender.
And you had said to me earlier that a lot of the opportunities you get is because you have your dad as your manager, not necessarily as a dad, but as a man.
Like having,
they listen to you
backing.
quicker because you've got that male backing.
I truly believe that.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
Yeah, I truly beg to differ. Yes, I'm very seasoned in the industry, and based on my relationship, I can open doors, but she keeps the doors open.
1,000%. I definitely keep the doors open. Although, for sure, I'll give myself that credit, for sure. But there is a lot of instances where if you were not around, I don't think I would have been treated the same way. If you were not there, and it's not even just you, even if I had another manager that was just as well seasoned and just there by my side, there's more respect given to me as a brand than if I speak for myself.
Yeah, because you have management.
No, because she has, unfortunately, and this is where we're talking about breaking the bias.
Yeah.
Because she has a man as the management.
I disagree also with that, because being a good manager doesn't necessarily have something to do with the sex of the manager.
I agree with
One
that.
of the biggest African artists today is being managed by the mother.
Yes.
Which is Burna Boy. So it's nothing to do with gender. I think when we look at breaking the bias, from my own perspective, I'm not going to go on you women now.
We're here to smash tables.
Yes, let's break
go
the table. Yeah, we need to first define the bias, because I see a lot of women say they want 35% inclusion in everything from governance to finance, but nobody's talking about 35.
It's actually 40%.
It's even better. It's even better. But now, when we start looking at the kind of industries you people want 40%, I don't see you all screaming that you want 40% of the police, or 40% of bricklayers, or 40% of security guards, but you want 40% of governance, you want 40% of... so we need to define bias. Who is being biased here now?
Okay, so I'm gonna take us back. Okay. Yes, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not gonna say you're right either. Yes,
right.
It's your perspective, and there is truth to that perspective. Gender bias for me is not female gender bias. It's gender bias.
Right.
It swings both ways, male and female. Yeah. So again, it takes me back to the root cause of this thing, which is upbringing. How are you raising your daughter so that when gender bias becomes a thing, whether it's her being biased to the man or the man being biased to her, she's able to navigate through it properly. What are the tools you're giving her?
Okay, as a direct question.
Yes.
One of the first things I believe you need to give every female child is confidence. And letting them believe in themselves, which is what I instilled in my daughters. And I tried within my capacity to strengthen and give them that confidence anyhow I can, so that they don't really depend on anybody but themselves. And I think I've done a great job with that because my kids actually are very independent. I allow them to make their mistakes while I'm alive because I'm there to correct them. So that's one of the things I do. And I feel that goes a long way.
Yeah.
When you allow them to make decisions that even affect me, and I entrust them with that. So those are the little things I think we need to do. And like you said, both male and female. If you have boys also, try and make them, because we were discussing this just last night, that in the last 10 years, there's been so much focus on making the gender balance towards the women.
Yeah,
But what we've now starting to realize is we're building strong women, but we're not building strong husbands for them. We're neglecting the boys. All attention is on the women, but now these powerful women, who's going to marry them?
As odd as that sounds, it's true. But first, what if she doesn't want to get married? Isn't that a bias in itself, that every woman must marry?
It's an expectation of the society.
It's a bias based on belief system, based on religion. That is part of the things that need to be unlearned.
Is there a bias to a woman or a bias to a man? Marriage
Both of them.
Both of them. I would say that even given that circumstance as well, there are a lot of strong women who do want to get married, although they can't find that equal counterpart to be able to feel like, yes, even though I provide for myself, they can't find the man that will be able to match them.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really big thing happening now. So even if a woman doesn't want to get married, all kudos to her, but the strong independent women who do, there is this issue at hand too.
Very, very true.
To add to that.
I was going to ask you, I know it happens to me. I walk into a room or an office or any space. It's me and another man. The man is in front of me. The security opens the door. He says, "Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir." And everybody walks on. Does not say good morning, ma. Good afternoon, ma. It doesn't greet me. And the man in front of me doesn't even recognize that gender bias has just happened right there. Does that type of thing happen to you?
Generally speaking, I wouldn't necessarily say so. There's been times where they might not say anything. They'll look at me, more so nervous. They're like, and they leave it at that, They'll just kneel and say hello, more so than speak. But I guess on my part, I don't necessarily look at that either. I'm usually not paying attention to that as well. Might be.
Are there similar things that happen to you where you think having the, like you said, in the music industry,
yes,
there's certain things that won't even come my way. I wouldn't even be spoken to. I wouldn't even be given a chance to even have a voice.
Yeah, I feel like that happens in different scenarios, but I feel like right now I can't think of one for some reason, but it's definitely happened more so in instances where there's just always a different expectation from you as a woman than the male musician beside me. So I walked into certain rooms and they don't even think I'm an artist. They just think I'm what are you doing here? Sort of instance, more so than, okay, like they'll ask them, are you here to record? And they'll just look at me like as if I was there to support him. Do you get what I'm saying? Instead of, I'm there to record as well. So I'd say there's been instances like that where they don't take women as seriously in my industry in some sense, sometimes.
In some of those
Sometimes he's not, definitely, but when he is there, it's usually a different. Once you come with your management, now they're seeing you different. But my issue with that is the fact that he didn't need to come with anybody to still get treated that way. Yeah. Why do I have to?
Yeah.
Do you get?
Yeah. I'm actually going to segue into a completely different part of this now. How old, do you mind me asking?
I'm 24.
You're 24.
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that the way in which this whole gender bias thing has gone is different for your generation
Most
than it was
definitely.
for the older generation?
For sure.
How so?
Generally speaking, there is some similarity still. However, I think our generation, we grew up knowing a lot more about the world from a younger age. And I think that played a big role in how we treat one another. And there's not as big of a pool of people who still see it, who really still see, I am man, I am woman, and we are different. Whereas now we've realized that we are different, but we are also the same. So we are treated differently than I feel like my parents' generation is, in so many different instances. And like, from just generally speaking, the woman is expected to cook and clean and this and that. Whereas nowadays, especially like at 24 years old, when we are getting to that age of parenting, a lot of my friends and a lot of people my age, we don't think that way anymore. It's more so everyone, we understand that my son can do the same thing. Or, you know, my son we won't grow up thinking that we are so different and the woman does this and the man does this. You do what you do as long as you're providing for the family as woman or man. So I definitely believe that our generation has grown up differently because we grew up with the age of the internet.
Yeah.
And that made the biggest difference.
Yeah. Do you as a man in an older generation, do you think that based on the differences of her generation, achieving gender equality, as it were, is more realistic in their time than it is for our time?
Visibly, even the opportunities the women is occupying today compared to what they occupied 30 years ago, there's a huge disparity. The acceptance, we have more powerful women now in various aspects of sectors than 30 years ago. So it's evident that, like she said, the digital age has heightened knowledge acquisition, has heightened confidence, and people are taking up the responsibility, and they're doing a great job at it also. We're finding out right now that one of the best managers actually are women. And that's the fact. Best managers, best accountants, all these things are now coming to the fore. So you can't change that anymore. Most businessmen are still after productivity. They don't care about gender at the end of the day.
So what tools? Because also I'm going to take advantage of the fact that you're also a coach.
Yeah.
What tools do you think we need to start employing? What techniques? What strategies do you think we need to start employing to actually see real progress, rather than this thing that I believe is happening, which is we're just going round and round and round in circles?
First and foremost, I don't think you're going round and round in circles. I think there is visible progress.
Okay.
I mean, how many banks do we have in Nigeria right now? How many have been headed by women? 30 years ago, we only had one woman that was prominent in the banking industry.
Very true.
You understand?
Very true.
That is huge.
That's huge progress.
Huge progress.
Yeah.
And
it's not. There's a lot more progress that could happen than we have gotten.
We are in a very, very, don't forget that, you see, we also have to always remember the environment we are in. You can plan, but you can't plan outside of your reality. we are in a very male-dominated environment, based on the culture, based on the people, based on the religion. So there's so many things that plays for. Now, for the fact that we are where we are today, it shows that the people that have been consistent and they've been able to deliver results, now the community is trusting more women. And it's only going to get better. Let's go back to the music industry also. Many years ago, the women were like individuals. We have many men and just one woman. But now we're in the last 3-4 years, we're getting many more breakthrough female artists than even the male artists.
True. Very true.
You know,
Very
and
true.
she said something that she needs a management to be with her for them to be taken serious. But don't forget also the environment we're in. That doesn't necessarily apply when you're outside of the country.
I see.
You understand? Because when you're outside of the country, all she has to do is book a studio herself and go in there. So they know what she's there to do.
True.
I'm giving examples. This isn't
Yes.
always the
Yes.
case. Yeah, I give examples to certain scenarios that have happened.
I've heard some. I mean, she's reported some scenarios too that they wouldn't have treated her
Yeah.
if she was male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just told her it's part of the business. Suck it up.
Okay.
And it is though. It is.
True. Okay, so if you had boys,
I do have boys.
You do have boys.
Yes, I do.
So what are you teaching them to help get closer to gender equality?
Well, for boys, the transition, right? So different things you have to teach them at different age. I think the most important thing for boys is what they see. Is what they see. So you as a father in the house, what are you doing? Because that's all that matters at a certain age. My boys are now at the age where they are expressive. They are like in their teens, you know. But before that, they're always soaking in what I do, and I know because I see them. I mean, I have a very bad habit of not acknowledging, or I don't give. How do I say it? Everything that you do that is really extraordinary, I say is okay. But I realize that my boys are doing the same too. They're giving compliments.
It's oh my God! I'd be like, oh my God, this is great. Do you like it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's okay.
Are you serious?
To drive me mad.
Yeah, but I'm now more intentional because I have seen my son doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's okay. So now I'm now using better words. Excellent.
So affirmative words.
Yeah, better
encouraging
words. So I think for boys, that's what's important. They will never come to you because I never went to my dad. I'm closer to my mom. I think my older brother is closer to my mom too. We're all closer to our mom, but the girls are closer to my dad. So we don't go to my dad for anything. We tell my mom, tell daddy. So it's more what they see, I believe.
So it's what they see. And for the girls, it's about teaching them to be confident in
Correct.
who they are. Teaching them to be confident
I'll
in
give
their
you a
skills.
quick story. I know we are running out of time. I'll give you a very quick story that I did for my first daughter. When she went to school, she was in a very mixed, in Canada we have lots of people in the school. Yeah, multicultural, but she's mixed. And then she was conflicted between whether she was white or she was black. And that bothered her for a minute. She was like 4 or 5 years old. So she came home one day very upset. And I just told her, you're the chosen one. I said, what do you mean? I said, yes. This is cliche, but it worked for our mindset. Like, why do you think your mom always goes go tanning? Because she wants to be like you. Why do you think your auntie is doing lightning cream? Because she wants to be like you. You're the chosen one. So anytime anybody's trying to
cross of
anytime anybody's trying to put you down, tell them you want to be like me. Because most of the time people trying to put her down are the white-skinned people. But guess what? They're all going to go sometime to be like you.
To add to that, because it happened to me too.
Yeah.
When we grew up, it wasn't normal to be mixed race. It was very abnormal still. So, we were still very used to black or white.
Wow.
So it was black people thought we were white people thought we were black. So we were very much in the middle to a point where like both of us, me and my sister, were bullied. We were very much alone. And it got to a point where we thought, why is this happening to me? Wow. So I do understand where he's coming from, not in the sense that we thought, oh, so my mom wants to be white or my auntie wants to be black, but more so in the sense that, no, when people hate on you, just understand that they want something that you have. And look at it from that standpoint more so than thinking that you are the problem.
Yeah. Wow. As usual, we haven't even scratched the surface.
I know. It's
We've
such a
already-
deep conversation.
Yeah, it is a deep conversation. But the two things that I'm going to take away from this is, fathers, raise your daughters to be confident in who they are. It's not about their gender. It's about confidence. Raise your sons to do the right thing by being a good example for them. That way, we can eventually achieve this gender equality that we all want to. Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Thank you for having us.
I can't wait to have you again as individuals. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you again.
Thank you for having us.
In a few minutes, John, Helen, and myself are going to round up the show very quickly. So please stay with us whilst we round up the show. Thank you.